vests and briefs.
Kachchathivu விவகாரம் மீண்டும் விஸ்வரூபம் எடுத்துள்ள நிலையில் மத்திய வெளியுறவுத்துறை அமைச்சர் ஜெய்சங்கர் செய்தியாளர்களை சந்தித்து வருகிறார். அதன் நேரலையை பார்க்கலாம்.
What has really transpired, which has created the issue, and why that issue is today relevant to all of us. Why are we debating it today? In 1974, India and Sri Lanka, in June 1974, concluded an agreement where they drew their maritime boundary. And in drawing the maritime boundary, Kachchathivu was put on the Sri Lankan side of the boundary. This agreement of 1974 had three other clauses. One clause which said that each country shall have sovereignty and exclusive jurisdiction and control over the waters. The second clause, Article 5, it gave to Indian fishermen that they will continue to access Kachchathivu as hitherto and will not be required to obtain travel documents. And the third one, that the vessels of India and Sri Lanka will enjoy in each other's waters such rights that they have traditionally enjoyed. So this was the agreement which was reached in 1974 in June. Now when this agreement was presented before Parliament, the then Foreign Minister, Sri Swaran Singh ji, he actually assured the Parliament, and I am reading his words, I feel confident that the agreement demarcating the maritime boundary in the Pork Bay will be considered as fair, just and equitable to both countries. At the same time, I wish to remind the honourable members that in concluding this agreement, the rights of fishing, please note, the rights of fishing, pilgrimage and navigation, which both sides have enjoyed in the past, have been fully safeguarded for the future. This was the assurance that the then Foreign Minister, Sri Swaran Singh ji, gave in Parliament at that time. 1974, July 23, 1974. Now, in less than 2 years, actually, there was another agreement between India and Sri Lanka through an exchange of letters. And in this agreement, now India proposed the following. Again, I'm reading to you from the original document. With the establishment of the exclusive economic zones by the two countries, India and Sri Lanka will exercise sovereign rights over the living and non-living resources of their respective zone. The fishing vessels and fishermen of India shall not engage in fishing in the historic waters, the territorial sea, and the exclusive zone of Sri Lanka. So, 1974, assurance is given. By 1976, an agreement is concluded which actually gives away this assurance. Now, once this agreement in 1976 was concluded, there then evolved a position, a standard position you can say, of the government on this matter. And I'm reading to you an example. This is from 2006. It is a question which is answered by the then Minister E. Ahmed on the floor of the Parliament. And he says, Mr. Ahmed, the 1974 agreement on the demarcation of the international maritime boundary line between India and Sri Lanka, as also the exchange of letters of 1976 on this issue of fishing rights, stipulate that the fishing vessels and fishermen of India shall not engage in fishing in the historic waters, territorial seas and the EEZ of Sri Lanka. So this is now the position which is taken by the government as a regular position. I am only giving you one example from 2006. So what has happened? What has been the consequence of this? In the last 20 years, 6,184 Indian fishermen have been detained by Sri Lanka. 6,184. And in the same period, 1,175 fishing vessels, Indian fishing vessels, have been seized, detained, apprehended by the Sri Lankans. So this is really today the background. This is the issue that we are discussing. Now you can ask, why are we discussing it? And the answer is, in the last 5 years, in the Parliament, in the Consultative Committee, we have repeatedly, this issue, Kachchathivu issue and the fishermen's issue, has been repeatedly raised by various parties, by all parties, I would say. As I mentioned, in Parliament it has come up as Parliament question, it has come up in debates, it has been raised in the Consultative Committee, and in fact, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has written to me numerous times, and my record shows that to the current Chief Minister, I have myself replied 21 times on this issue. So, please understand, this is not an issue which has suddenly surfaced. This is a live issue. It is an issue which has been very much debated in Parliament, in Tamil Nadu circles as well. It has been the subject of correspondence between the union government and the state government. And as I said, 21 times I have myself replied to letters. Now, every political party in Tamil Nadu has taken a position on this. And here, one of the reasons why we are debating it is, in looking at these two issues, the Kachchathivu issue and the fishermen issue, two parties, the Congress and the DMK, have approached this matter as though they have no responsibility for it. As though the situation is for central government, today's central government, for them to resolve. There is no history to this. This has just happened. They are the people who are taking up the cause. That is the way they would like to project it. So the purpose of the press conference today, why I am talking to all of you, is we believe that the public has a right to know. The public has a right to know, how did this situation come about? How was Kachchathivu, how was the 1974 agreement reached? How was Kachchathivu given away? How was the fishing issue handled? Because please understand, the fishing issue actually emanated from a 1976 agreement. So there are two agreements we are talking about. So because these have been live issues, because they have been discussed earlier also in Parliament, two documents were sought from us as an RTI request. And these were provided. One was a document about Ministry of External Affairs, summary background note for the meeting of the Informal Consultative Committee in 1968 on this issue. And the second was a record of discussion of a meeting between the then Foreign Secretary and the then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Honorable Kalaignar Karunanidhi, in June 1974. Now, the point today is, we know there are two agreements. We know there is a 1974 agreement. We know there is a 1976 agreement. We know who did this. How has the situation arisen? What we do not know is who hid this. Who has been...
கச்சத்தீவு விவகாரம் மீண்டும் விஸ்வரூபம் எடுத்துள்ள நிலையில் இது தொடர்பாக மத்திய வெளியுறவுத்துறை அமைச்சர் ஜெய்சங்கர் தற்போது செய்தியாளர்களை சந்தித்து பேசி வருகிறார்.
வெண்மையின் அடையாளம், உலாமா லுங்கீஸ், வெஸ்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் பிரீவ்ஸ்.